At 15, my parents took me to my first live USC football game at the LA Coliseum. Walking into the stadium, seeing 80,000 fans all packed in the stands wearing the exact same colors was crazy. And the field was a work of art. I mean, every chalk line was perfect. It was either the energy from the crowd or the beauty of the field, but I stood there in awe, desperately trying to take it all in. As I made my way toward my seat, I heard the stadium erupt, which forced me to whip my head around and see exactly what was going on. And just as I turned my head, I see all of the USC players running out of the tunnel to take the field. Ooh, the hairs on my arms and neck stood up as electricity rushed through my body. And just like that, playing at the college level became my obsession. But everything changed my junior year of high school. I'm sitting in the doctor's office waiting for my MRI results. I had just felt my knee explode at a UCLA football camp. I was getting recruited by some of the biggest colleges in the country. Man, I was this close to getting a scholarship. Everything was riding on these results. The results came in, and I tore my ACL and my medial and lateral meniscus, and I was gonna miss my entire senior season of high school football. How could this be happening to me? The fear of my career ending before I even get to play a single down of college football began to break me. Man, I started to spiral. I was already one of the smallest receivers in all of California, standing at 5'5", 135 pounds, soaking wet. And now I got a battered knee. Man, who's gonna want me now? All of those thoughts tortured me as my mom squeezed me as tight as she could in that doctor's office that day. Now, to get through this gut-wrenching setback, I ain't choose to be positive. Instead, I chose optimism. I took it a step further and decided to be pathologically optimistic. Now, to be pathological means to be obsessive or compulsive even, right? You couple that with optimism, and you've got somebody that makes a conscious decision to believe in the possibility of good. See, pathological optimism is the act of making a commitment to consistently focus on the upside by any means necessary. When we're going through a difficult time in our life, we got to take a step back and then ask ourselves, what's the controllable here? The only controllable I had in this particular situation was my attitude and my commitment to somehow still earn that scholarship. Now, to become a pathological optimist, you have to first be mindful of those negative thoughts that slowly fester into our belief system. When a pessimistic thought pops up, you gotta challenge it and then question its validity. A great way to combat those negative thoughts is to make a running list. Get it down on paper so you can confront them, stare at them face to face, and then ask yourself, if I were to be pathologically optimistic about an outlook here, what would it be? Then write that down right next to the negative thought. We've got to expand our minds around the idea of what's possible. One of the few controllables we have as humans is the lens through which we choose to look at things. We got to train our brains to focus on the upside while pivoting away from the negative as fast and as consistent as possible. Because check it out, we all know positivity don't always work. But negativity works 100% of the time. According to the National Science Foundation, 80% of our thoughts are negative, and 95% of our thoughts are repetitive. By getting our thoughts out of our head and onto paper, you give yourself a chance to emotionally release, but also gain clarity around your pattern of thinking. It's the pattern of thinking that leads to the destructive behaviors. Next, we have to be intentional about practicing gratitude. This is the secret sauce, y'all. Even though I was injured, expected to miss my entire senior season of high school football, there was so much to be grateful for in my life. Practicing gratitude allows us to shift the focus from what's lacking to what's present, fostering a healthier perspective. Consistently practicing gratitude leads to a shift in neuroplasticity, which is your brain's ability to adapt or change. This fuels a pathologically optimistic outlook because it conditions us to focus on the upside. A great way to make gratitude a daily habit is by journaling 3 to 5 things you're grateful for, or send a text to a friend or a family member you love and appreciate. Man, we gotta build habits that create a mindset equipped to handle any obstacle thrown our way. If we could commit to the habit of looking for the good, we'll have a hell of a shot at actually finding it. The real magic lies in the belief that adversity isn't happening to us, it's happening for us. But it's up to us to leverage these moments. I bet you're wondering what happened to my football career, huh? A year after my injury, I'm sitting in my coach's office when the head coach from the University of Hawaii walks in to recruit a teammate of mine. While he's standing there waiting to speak to my teammate, I decided to introduce myself and then ask him to watch my highlight tape that was on top of the TV in the corner. He watches my tape, looks me in the eyes, and offers me a full scholarship right there on the spot. My ability to remain optimistic presented this moment when Coach walked in as an opportunity rather than me being bitter or jealous or a hater. When we adopt the pathologically optimistic outlook, our adversities become opportunities to cultivate unbreakable resilience. Now, the first step starts with being mindful of those negative thoughts. For the next 30 days, I want you to make a running list of all those negative thoughts, then draw a line right through them, and then right beside it, write that pathologically optimistic outlook. Because when it comes to the most resilient humans on the planet, it doesn't start with what we do. It starts with what we think.